And I now give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to the Greek presidency for convening this very important meeting. We extend our appreciation to Mr. Tom Fletcher, Ms. Sima Bahous, Ms. Mirjana Spoljaric-Eger, and Ms. Janti Soripto for their very valuable briefings. The protection of civilians in armed conflict remains a core principle of international humanitarian law. Yet, today, we are witnessing an alarming rise in violation of the international humanitarian law, with innocent civilians bearing the brunt of unlawful warfare. Sadly, in many contexts, in particular in Gaza, respect for international humanitarian law has been reduced to an empty slogan. Shielded by impunity, parties to conflict are disregarding their legal obligations with near total abandon. The numbers speaks for themselves. The United Nations recorded over 36,000 civilian deaths in 14 armed conflicts in 2024 alone. The majority of them in Gaza. Mr. President, protecting civilians, humanitarian and UN personnel, journalists and media professionals, and enhancing accountability mechanisms are not abstract ideals. They are the pillars of our shared legal and moral responsibility as a Security Council. We must act decisively to uphold them. In 2024, nowhere has the collapse of ISL been more complete, more deadly than in Gaza. Yes, in Gaza. In Gaza, civilian infrastructure has been systematically destroyed. By the end of last year, nearly 70% of all structures in Gaza were damaged or flattened. the electricity blackout persisted throughout the year. Second, in Gaza, forced displacement has become normalized. 2 million people, about 90% of Gaza's population, have been uprooted. Almost all of them displaced many times. Third, in Gaza, starvation is being weaponized. 86% of the population faced critical level of food insecurity. Fourth, in Gaza, medical neutrality has been obliterated. Over 300 attacks on health facilities were recorded in Gaza. 20 of the 36 hospitals and 86 healthcare centers were rendered non-functional. 5. In Gaza, education has been shattered. 12,000 school children and 500 teachers were killed. 12,000 school children and 500 teachers were killed. 80% of school buildings were damaged. An entire generation of Palestinian children have lost a full academic year in 2024. 6. In Gaza, journalism is under fire. 20 journalists were killed, and international media access has been and is still denied. Murdering not only lives, but also the truth. 7. In Gaza, humanitarian workers have been turned into targets. 2024 was the deadliest year on record in the world, with over 200 of 360 humanitarian workers killed in Gaza alone. This situation is unacceptable. And the Council, this very Council, can no longer remain silent, remain idle. We must assume our responsibilities, our mandate as member of this Council for maintaining international peace and security. We must act without delay. Mr. President, Algeria, with the support of the Arab group, intends to circulate a very concise draft text focused on the humanitarian situation in Gaza, as well as the access and distribution of humanitarian aid throughout the entire Strip. We count on everyone's support and spirit of compromise in this important endeavor. We will use language that we hope can unite not only Security Council members, but humanity in its entirety. Enough killing, enough suffering for the Palestinian people. Mr. President, the failure to protect civilians is not the result of lack of norms. It is a failure of will. The rules exist. What is lacking is the political will, is the political courage to enforce them. We must collectively reaffirm that international humanitarian law is not negotiable. It is the last shield for the innocent amid the horror of war. We owe it to the victims to ensure that these rules are upheld. All victims deserve justice, deserve accountability. Respect for international humanitarian law must not be the exception. It must be the rule. There is no place for double standard. No one is above the law. Let us rise to that responsibility. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for this powerful statement.